Hi, I'm Andrea and I'm a health coach and a raw food teacher, and I help women over the age of 40 to lose weight and to rediscover their inner glow.
Whilst I was at a party last week with a group of middle-aged women like myself, it became apparent that one of the biggest bugbears that they have is this weight gain that they're all getting around the middle. And all the other symptoms that they were having just seemed secondary. They were having anxiety, emotional issues, joint pain, heavy menstrual flow, and everyone was at that pre-menopausal, perimenopausal age or menopausal. And it became apparent to me that there was this imbalance of hormones that these women weren't really aware of that was going on in their bodies. So that's something that I thought I'd just talk to you about today to see if we can understand what these hormones are and how they affect us and what we can do about it. So what is perimenopausal? That just means really the time leading up to when you become menopausal, and that usually starts about 40 years of age. Your hormones start to just become perhaps a little bit more unbalanced than they have been through your for high fertility childbearing years, and just leading up to menopausal. So menopausal, the menopause is when your menstrual cycle actually ceases and you stop having periods, and when you've actually stopped for a year, that's when you actually classed it as menopausal. And that usually happens, I think in the UK the average age is 52 years. As we enter our perimenopausal years, a number of our hormones start to change and the balance becomes different. Two of the main hormones are the sex hormones that actually regulate our monthly cycles. So we've got estrogen and progesterone, and both of those start to decrease. But what happens is often progesterone will decrease more than estrogen, and that is because there's a lot of outside influences that increase our estrogen levels. Things like the food we eat today, animals are fed hormones that have high amounts of estrogen in them, and then we eat the animals, and so we actually take that on board. A lot of our water supplies are actually tainted with hormones as well, which increases our estrogen levels as well. So these sorts of things contribute to our estrogen remaining higher, and thus we become slightly estrogen dominant. And what happens when you've got lots of estrogen in your body is that you actually retain fat in fat cells, and the fat cells then actually themselves make more estrogen. So it becomes a big vicious circle that's continuing to go around in a loop. But the estrogen type fat deposits are the ones that actually deposit around your middle, and that's why we see this increase at this time in our lives, just because of the estrogen deposits, and they hang around the middle part rather than anywhere else in your body. So the next two hormones that we're going to look at in our hormone balancing act are cortisol and insulin. Cortisol is, you might know that as a stress hormone, and what happens is when cortisol is released into the body as a result of some sort of stress, in days gone by that stress might have been like running away from a wild animal or some sort of natural disaster happening, but today that stress is likely to be caused by something like you have to finish your project at work, or the in-laws are coming at the weekend, and that's raising cortisol levels in your body. What happens then is the excess cortisol that is released into the body inhibits insulin, shutting off glucose that is needed in the cells as energy. What happens then is the glucose is actually left floating around in the bloodstream, and this glucose then has nowhere to go and it doesn't have a job to do, and it eventually gets deposited into fat cells. And studies have shown that the fat cells that are actually produced in this way tend to deposit themselves, you got it, round the middle, the old spare tyre. So I hear you saying, what can we do? We've got progesterone and estrogen, we've got insulin and cortisol, all having an effect on depositing weight gain around our middles. So let's have a look now at what we can actually do to perhaps help that or prevent it. So I'm going to outline to you 4 things that you can do that will actually help make changes and improve that situation. The first one is to decrease your stress levels. You can do that in a number of ways, simple as having a massage, going for a walk in nature, doing some de-stressing exercise and movement like qigong or tai chi, some yoga, simple meditation. These will all help bring your cortisol levels down. The second thing is to eat organic food wherever possible. So if you're eating especially animal products and they're not organic, you're going to get all the artificial hormones going into your body. If you're eating organic, they're going to be free from those, so you're not having the knock-on effect in yourself. They may cost a little bit more or be a bit harder to resource, but they're well worth it. The third thing you could look at doing is to actually do some detoxification in your body. You could look at detoxing your lungs. That would enable better circulation, and that would help your cells to release fat that's trapped in there. The other thing you could detox would be your skin by simple skin brushing procedures. Your skin can breathe easier then and let toxins out from the inside. They can come out to the outside then. Things like having saunas and steam rooms can help with detoxing, or even just a hot bath if you don't have access to any of those. Also detoxing your bladder by drinking more water and making sure that you're properly hydrated, and also to detox your digestive system by colonics or anemones. That can help eliminate lots of toxins and fat that's stored in your body. And also look at doing a liver cleanse, which can detox your liver, and that will then help support the other functions in your body. And the fourth thing you can do is to add lots more raw living foods to your diet. What do I mean by that? That means just really having food as nature intended, unprocessed and unadulterated. By eating more of those sort of foods, you're going to be providing your cells with vitamins, enzymes, minerals. You've got fibre going in there, you've got all your micronutrients, and your cells are going to love it, and that's in turn going to help balance your hormones. Lots of women do benefit from taking these simple steps, and you don't have to do it all at once. You could just incorporate a little bit of everything every day, or you could decide to just change, well, I'm going to eat more raw living foods to start with, or I'm just going to change everything I eat to organic. Just baby steps and then build it up. From a personal point of view, I started incorporating these 4 steps into my lifestyle about 10 years ago. And by doing so, I suddenly realised that my monthly cycle was no longer problematic, and also I lost half a stone in weight. Since I've adapted these 4 points into my lifestyle, I've managed to keep that weight off, and as I approach I'm pre-menopausal, and as I approach menopause, I just feel better now than I did 10 years ago, and just hope that is going to put me in a good place. Well, I know that's going to put me in a good place for going through to menopause. So I hope this has helped you understand more about why our hormones become unbalanced, and the steps we can take, simple steps we can take to help rectify that. So if you'd like to hear more videos that I'm going to put out, if you'd like to subscribe to my channel or like this video, share it or leave a comment below, please feel free to do so. I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye.